The purpose of life is to figure out what your purpose is, which is one of those things that sounds really stupid and cliche, but I think it's true. I believe you have to come to terms with your life for yourself on your terms. Like, if you could become an expert marine biologist, an expert in ocean, the studies of ocean or whatever, but if you never stepped foot in the ocean, if you never swam in the waves, then you ultimately don't even know what you're talking about. It's like someone you can study Shakespeare, but if you've never been in love, then, you don't really know. The experience of life is what it's all about. And a lot of it is just above our pay grade. There is a certain point where you just have to give up on the need to understand everything. That was something that was really difficult for me. I really wanted to try and make sense of everything. But eventually, I just had to shut that off. And that actually wasn't very voluntary. It was not a voluntary decision. I had a religious experience, and I felt that God basically yelled at me and told me to stop thinking about all this big stuff. Stop worrying about the stuff that God has to deal with. Just focus on what I need to do. Jesus says he's the way, the truth, and the life. And I feel that the best way to follow Jesus, what it means, what people are getting at, I think, when they talk about having a personal relationship with Jesus, even though I don't think people who use that phrase would really agree with me, the best way to have a personal relationship with Jesus is to speak the truth, live in a way that is conducive towards life, and do what you are supposed to do. That's the way. He who knows the path broadly sees it in all things. The way, the truth, and the life. If you just do that, you'll be fine. All you can do is all that you can do. Again, this is a bunch of like cliche shit that sounds stupid, but they're true for a reason. And I think that to live life, you have to believe that life is good. That brand, just like the guy, stick figure, just says life is good. Something for autistic people to wear and like 12-year-olds. But in a way, I think that's the most succinct and apt life philosophy. You have to believe that life is good, that it is worthwhile somehow. And you're not going to be able to understand all the answers. That's what faith is. And faith is, I think it's necessary if you want to live. I'm reading this book right now that came out in '96 called Prozac Nation, about this poor woman. She wrote it as a woman. It's about her dealings with depression and taking depression pills. But her parents split up when she was young, and they would fight over her, and she struggled. Her parents struggled financially, or her mom did, whatever. And then eventually her dad bounced for a while, and then later on, and this girl ended up going to Harvard, and but one of the things she really struggled with, she struggled with the fact that she thought that, she basically looked down on her problems. Like, she didn't think she would deserved to feel bad or be depressed. And that resonates, and I know what that's like. I went through that, of being in this place where I struggled with depression and all that, but I felt guilty and didn't even want to let myself accept the fact that I was feeling those things, and they were warranted, because all these other people have dealt with so much other stuff. So who am I to feel bad about something so much minor, but there's something that was so much less potent. But one of the things that really affected me was reading Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. And he talks about how despair is like a gas and fills up a room, and that's what despair does to a human being. Like, you can't you don't want to, it's pointless to compare it to other people's pain or despair because they're a different person. Um, if there's a little old lady and the only thing she has in this world is, a little dog, and the dog dies, she's going to be devastated. I mean, I'm not a little old lady. I have more things than a little dog, but I do have a dog, and I would be devastated if my dog died. And it's not like if something happened to my dog, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, there's people in Africa that are starving, so therefore I don't care. That's not how being a person works. Um, you have to live your life, and that's all you can do. And that is the your redemption or whatever will be found precisely in how you deal with your problems. I know a lot of people, like I said, happened with myself, who they struggle with. There's all this other stuff going on. There's all these, they compare themselves to other people, and that causes a lot of pain. And I think at the end of the day, you just have to answer to yourself. Namaste.